People see a price jump and assume it's permanent. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a one-time bump that fades once inventory clears and promos come back. By the end of this video, you'll be able to run a simple pass-through test on any price hike and decide if it's likely to be temporary, sticky, or still in motion. And you'll know what to watch next so you are not guessing. Quick note, this is educational information, not financial advice. Picture this. You buy the same basics every month. In January, your usual $80 run becomes $92's. Same cart, higher total. You do it again 2 weeks later, and it's still higher. Now you're wondering, do I adjust my budget? Do I stock up? Do I switch brands? Or do I just wait? Let's make that decision less emotional and more mechanical. A price hike usually travels through a chain. It starts with an input cost or a policy change. Then it hits wholesalers and distributors. Then retailers decide whether to eat it, pass it through, or delay it. Then you feel it at the shelf. And the last step is what matters for your wallet, your new baseline. Retail prices also move differently than people expect. They can be sticky on the way up. Stores re-tag slower, and they do not always roll back quickly, even when costs ease. So, you need a test that looks at timing and behavior, not just one receipt. The pass-through test has 3 parts: the shock, the bridge, and the shelf behavior. Start with the shock. This can be tariffs, a shipping squeeze, a jump in raw materials, or a category shortage. Tariffs are a clean example because they are designed to raise the cost of imported goods. But the shelf effect is not automatic. Companies can shift suppliers, change packaging, adjust margins, or time updates around promotions. For our $80 to $92 cart, you do not need to identify the exact tariff code. You need to ask a simpler question. Is this category likely exposed to imported costs? A quick check is the product label or description for country of origin, and whether your store carries multiple imported versions of the same type of item. If most options are domestic, a tariff story is less likely to be the main driver. If most options are imported, it's more plausible. Now, the bridge. This is the middle of the chain before you see it. A shock can exist but not show up right away at the shelf. Retailers might be selling older inventory bought at older costs, or they might have contract pricing that delays changes. So, the bridge question is, are the suppliers paying more right now? If yes, you should expect more shelf pressure with a lag. If no, the shelf spike is more likely a local issue, a promo ending, or a one-off disruption. Now the shelf behavior. This is the part you can actually observe, and it's the most useful for budgeting. A permanent reset usually has 3 signs. The normal non-sale price rises. The sales are weaker, shorter, or disappear. And the cheaper substitute rises too, meaning the whole category is repricing, not just one brand. A temporary spike looks different. The shelf price jumps, but promotions return. Or one store is high, while another store is not. Or the brand changes package size, and the unit price tells the real story. Here's a simple number example to make the stakes real. Say your household buys a $20 household item every 2 weeks. That's about $520 per year. If it becomes $23 and stays there, your annual cost is about $598. That is a $78 baseline reset on one line item. Now stack that across a few categories, and you can be $300 to $500 higher per year without lifestyle creep. Back to our shopper. If your cart went from $80 to $92, that is $12 per trip. If you do that 4 times a month, that is about $48 per month. That is exactly how a budget starts bleeding into the credit card, even when you feel like you did nothing different. So, what do you check first? Check 1 is unit price, not the sticker price. Unit price is the only honest referee when package sizes change. Check 2 is breadth. Pick 3 items in the category. 1 premium, 1 store brand, 1 mid-tier. If all 3 are up, it's a category move. If only 1 is up, it can be brand-specific or promo timing. Check 3 is the floor. The floor is the lowest price you can reliably get, not the highest price you might see. If the floor moved, your baseline moved. If only the peak moved, it might be noise. Here's a common mistake. People see one big story about tariffs and assume every price jump is tariffs. Another reason this might not show up the way you expect is inventory and timing. Sometimes the shock is real, but your store has old stock. Sometimes the shock is small, but a promo ended, so it feels huge. So the practical way to frame it is this: treat tariffs as one possible shock, not the whole explanation. Your job is to track whether the floor is rising across a few purchases. Now, once you decide whether it's sticky or temporary, you still have to choose how to respond. And there are two paths that make sense depending on your timeline and your cash buffer. Path 1 is adapt the baseline. This is for categories where the floor clearly moved. You update the budget cap. You pick one substitute you can live with, and you build a small buffer so a bad week does not spill into debt. Path 2 is wait and watch. This is for categories where promotions still bring the price back near the old floor. You rotate where you buy, and you delay bulk purchases until you see the next promo cycle. For our $80 to $92 shopper, here's the clean decision rule. If the same category is higher across 3 purchases over about 30 to 60 days, and the unit price floor is higher, treat it as a baseline reset. If it's volatile and the promos still pull it back near the old floor, treat it as temporary and focus on timing and substitution. Next, I'll give you exactly 3 signals to watch, then a 2-minute checklist you can run every time a price spike hits. Signal 1 is supplier pressure. You want to know if the shock is still feeding into the system or if it already peaked, where to look, without getting fancy. If you follow the news, watch for updates about shipping costs, raw materials, or major import rules in the category you care about. But for your wallet, the practical version is this: if the store keeps shrinking promotions, that usually means suppliers are not giving them room to discount. Timing-wise, this signal leads the shelf by weeks to a couple of months, depending on inventory. Signal 2 is the promo calendar. Every category has a rhythm. Some go on sale every 2 to 6 weeks. Others move with seasons. Where to look: your store's weekly ad, your loyalty app offers, and your own receipts. What it means: if the item stops hitting the old promo price for 2 full promo cycles, that is a strong hint the floor moved. Timing-wise, this is the fastest signal because it shows up within a month. Signal 3 is substitution spread. This is the easiest one to run. Where to look: on the shelf or in the app, compare 3 tiers: premium, mid, store brand. What it means: if the premium rises but the store brand stays stable, you have options without a full budget reset. If the store brand rises too, the category is repricing and your baseline is more likely to stick. Timing-wise, this usually shows up at the same time as the shelf change, but it helps you separate a brand story from a category story. Now the 2-minute checklist. 1. Pick the category. Do not say groceries. Say coffee, laundry detergent, kids' snacks, whatever is actually moving. 2. Record the unit price on your next 3 purchases. If you can only do one now, and one in 2 weeks, and one in a month. 3. Check the floor. What is the cheapest reliable version you would actually buy? And did that price move? 4. Check promo strength. Did the item return to its normal sale pattern, or did the promotions weaken? 5. Run the decision rule. 30 to 60 days, 3 purchases, higher unit price floor plus weaker promos equals baseline reset. Volatile price with promos returning equals temporary spike. 6. Respond based on cash buffer. If your buffer is thin, adapt faster with substitutions and a small category cap. If your buffer is solid, you can wait for a promo cycle and avoid panic buys. If you want, reply with your most annoying category price jump and the store you shop at. And I'll help you run the pass-through test on that one example. If this helped, subscribe to the Wealth Blueprint for more clear money breakdowns. And leave a comment with the next topic you want covered, or the one part of today's video you want explained even simpler.